think there's anything more going on at Burning Man? I know you haven't been yet, but you certainly are drawn to it for some reason. So is it more than just the sort of technological, explosion that goes on out there in the desert?
Gosh, it's still such a mysterious sort of beast for me. I've heard so many stories and, talk about synchronicity and insane sort of happenings that go down during that weekend. And I know there's the whole psychedelic thing around it too. And I've been in situations like that, but it's always been like a day, 2 days, right? I don't know what 7 days is gonna do to my brain or my heart, my body. But God, I gotta find out.
The premise of this documentary is to track a few campmates through their experiences before, during, and after the burn. And we selected you, Evan, because you're new to astrology. You've clearly had a lot of experience with psychedelics and breath work and altered states and the archetypal dimensions of the psyche. As it stands now, what are your preconceptions about astrology?
I feel very much open to it, to increasing my knowledge around it. But I think what I'm looking for is more like some sort of embodied experience of these sort of things.
This is your first time going to Burning Man. Why don't you, express whatever you're feeling about that, anxiety, excitement, etc.
I mean, I'm really excited. I wanna experience this thing for myself. Finally, I've heard too much about it. But like I was saying, I'm a little scared too. I'm not sure if I'm ready to receive whatever Burning Man has to give after being abroad in a lot of isolation for about 2 months. I feel as if my spiritual growth needs to be taken kind of a step back and taken slowly. And in a sense, I'm a little scared that Burning Man is like this massive dose of open up here now, look out, God's coming in.
Okay, we're on the way to Burning Man. There's Evan. We are recording his journey to his first Burning Man. And I was curious about his chart, so I plugged it in for the first time. He was born in 1982 at a time where these 3 planets were in the same place in the sky. We have Pluto, Mars, Saturn. But in your case, Jupiter also moved in, so you have a stellium. You have 4 planets in the same place.
Are they all intense?
Yeah, Jupiter expands and magnifies whatever it touches.
Oh.
So, in that sense, it's intensifying the intense bunch of planets. And the unique part about his chart is that they're in a T-square with his sun and moon. We tend to notice the squares and the oppositions and the conjunctions in our charts. We can't ignore them. We usually need to work harder to integrate these very different types of energies that are in a stronger, a more angular relationship to each other.
That kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of contradiction in my life.
Yes, exactly. Especially with like a sun square moon, that's where you often find like what you need, what you want can be very different. So yeah, Sun Pluto, what we were just saying to you earlier, is like, yeah, it's part of your calling, it's the way you shine. You might be wanting to shine lights in the depths as well, but it's but then your lunar self, it means more, then you get more into like, yeah, depth therapy, where you're really in touch with other people's deep emotions. It can be very intuitive. You've gone into the depths, so you know how to help people go into the depths and deal with the shadow side.
This is what I've been doing the last 9 weeks for sure.
Jupiter is higher education, philosophy, religious studies, other cultures, being really interested in, you know, learning about other cultures. I know you're just like the epitome of your chart right now. So in a way, it's like, yeah, you're going to study these things, you're looking at the philosophy of, you know, deep transformation. So it sounds like you're kind of on the right path.
Does it say anything about me ever getting a chance to relax? Take it easy. I need more Venus in my life.
Down and roll out into that handle. Down with the dust. Yeah, you can take it out. Not just take it out. And the cat are no longer virgin. That's a blow! Woo! Have an awesome bird. Welcome home.
There it is, Playa Styles. Yeah.
What is this, 2 days on the playa? 3 days on the playa?
3 days, 2 days of actually going kind of strong.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy night last night. And kind of let go of a lot of energy. Just had fun.
What are your general impressions of Black Rock City?
There's a lot of goodness here.
Yeah. It's there's just it seems like there's every possibility out there. You just have to find something interesting to get into. This isn't one monolithic sort of philosophy going on here. This is a enmeshment of 1,000 different, you know, worldviews and whatnot.
staying with me for a while or keeps coming back up is this theme of less talk, more feel, or like less in my mind in the typical way that I'm in my head, and more allowing myself to just kind of feel what's moving through me with all the stimulation and everything that's coming up and the people that I meet. It can often be so stimulating that I kind of shut it down by thinking or talking or kind of getting into narrative. And I know it's important to watch, you know, where the narrative's going, but I'm trying to experience more of this other side of me that I think is blocked or shut down, more of the feeling sense. Basically, that I have to do something or make something happen, and instead of letting like this experience unfold for me and staying in the, I don't know, like direct inner experience of it, as opposed to like grabbing my camera and making sure I have, you know, to take a picture, a snapshot of like the outside or external perspective, like, or documenting it or writing, like, and I want to make sure I do that, but I feel like I have a tendency to be a little bit unbalanced, and my work this summer is about balancing by experiencing more of the other side of staying in the more direct experience and letting it unfold through me. When I document or wonder or question about, you know, am I doing Burning Man right, or what should I be doing next? Shouldn't I be, I don't know, out living some bigger adventure, or, you know what I mean? When it's like, there's little adventures right here, just getting to know you guys, and everyone I talk to is just incredible and has their own unfolding stories and beautiful conversations or just connections, and so just allowing it to sort of happen, and then suddenly I'm just gonna get on a bike and ride off. I don't have to plan it. In a sense, the man, how could that not be symbolic of the ego? You know, we're talking about this egoic force on the cultural level, or maybe the cosmic level, but how could it not also represent the self, and in a sense transcending it? But you don't really just want to burn the self, you want to integrate it. You know, you can't make it go away. You help develop it, and you help it become something even bigger than it is, but something that's your friend or cohort that you converse with.
Yesterday, pretty much for the whole day, I was struck by like this sense of this really strong feeling of absurdity.
Yeah.
And so like this sudden loss of meaning, and like, what is this Burning Man shit all about? This is just debauchery and some misplaced idea about something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I was basically just getting like upset and starting to get cranky and like, you know what, it's Thursday, I wish it was Sunday, I've had enough, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
This is just absurd and meaningless. And then that night I went out walking around with I split from the group and ran into a member in the group, and then split from him, and then turned back to find the group, and then decided no. So like 3 times I turned away from the group, and as soon as I committed to just wandering, I'm telling you, like 30 seconds I stepped on the playa, probably less than 30 seconds, I ran into a group of friends from Charleston where I moved from.
Wow.
They immediately like joined a ring around me and were like celebrating finding each other, and I had known they were here in search for them, like consciously for a while,
Right.
and just, you know, was unable to find them over and over, and so finally just like letting go of, you know, trying to like keep up with the group or whatever, and just kind of submitting to the playa. like as soon as, like right when I was at my climax of absurdity and meaninglessness, I was delivered this like 1-2 punch of direction and meaning, and it just kind of like rocked me. And I didn't sleep last night, but somehow I think I was just like fed by the whole experience. I got like about an hour of sleep. I feel fine. I feel rested and rejuvenated and like ready to make more meaning, or just let it come up as it does, or whatever. I just feel kind of calm and present and like slow and low and confident.
To the Buddha who illuminates the limitless, no pill needed. We are living in the lotus, fully qualified. Mahasafa who's arrived, universal magnetic people. I get alive. Get alive. Get Bowing to the Buddha who illuminates the limitless, no pill needed. We are living in the lotus, fully qualified. Mahasafa who's arrived, universal magnetic people. I get alive.
We're wanting to dialogue and connect and be in conversation with our unconscious. To do that with the conscious mind. So at what point is it? At what point is the conscious? Is it an overcoming? Is the conscious mind supposed to overcome the unconscious and, go to the depths to understand everything? Or is it more supposed to just ride it? To just kind of like ride it into the meaning?
From a world unforgettable, untouched and glorified, pineal gland amped to pump out the real lie. Third eye deities aided by DMT appear like bikinis and bikinis to teach me. Destroy all karma like vehicular homicide. Ride with the diamonds of the sky of your own mind. Flying with the knowledge that the victory's felt. Great compassion is learned, it's the jewel of the self.
it's almost overwhelming, like how many connections that we were making, reading the chart, and how many layers of meaning that there were to process. For one, it sounded like there was a lot of the theme of Pluto, like going down into shit and the unconscious, and it's just, this is what I've been doing this whole summer, you know, in Peru, in ayahuasca ceremonies and dieting tobacco, and then right from there to the playa. And so as a therapist, you know, I feel like this summer is, I read and study and theorize about a lot of this sort of thing, but this summer has been about me going down into my own personal direct experience of these things in a huge way. I'm feeling fatigued physically and emotionally, and last night was just beautiful. I didn't have the energy to celebrate it. I really spent everything I had in me Friday night, and so unfortunately I feel like I missed a little bit of the celebration last night, but I still got to see the man go up in flames. And it felt like a beautiful climax to a summer of trying to work with and tear down, I don't know, I guess you could say a patriarchal sort of forms or structures inside of me that stopped me from flowing into kind of spontaneous creativity and connection with people. And that's what I did feel strongly Friday night with you all in camp. And so it really just brought me to like a more of like a communal feeling of just connection with a community or a family. And I've just been overwhelmed by the beauty of this camp that I've been a part of. And I'm making connections here that I really feel like I want to hold on to. Hold on to some part of this in my life and not just have it be a once a year sort of ritual. I kind of want to live like this. And I know it's not going to be possible to live exactly like this, but just a few small ways that I can make changes in my life I think are going to have massive ripples in my relationships and other places that you have to be seen. Everybody was giving from their heart, and they were voluntarily giving so much that you can't help but want to give back. And so I want to be part of a community where I want to give, more readily be open to being able to receive. It was hard for me to believe in it at first, that these people around me are really genuinely giving. And it took me a few days to sort of tear down that narrative that if someone's giving, really they're just trying to take something from you. And once I let the truth of that in, I just feel like I was able to just split my heart wide open Friday night, and it all just kind of came pouring out. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is about this community, but there's something massively healing about it.